Greetings, fellow artistes, and welcome to another episode of You Saw It, Now Draw It. My name is Scott Gabala Broxome, and I'm a children's illustrator, author, and caricaturist. And today, I'm going to show you how to draw a dolphin. A couple of facts about dolphins here, a few facts. Dolphins are, as you probably know, very intelligent. One of the most intelligent mammals. And they are air breathers. There's a blowhole right in the top there of the head that they have to come up to the surface of the water to breathe. They are mostly gray or black in color. They can live up to about 40 years. And a group of them is called a school or a pod. And they can have as many of 1,000 of them in one of these pods or schools at a time. All right, let's see, where should we start? Well, if you've joined me for any of the other episodes, we start with the shapes and then we add the details. So we're looking for the shapes in the dolphin. And once again, we're going to focus on the center here. So if we kind of take that nose and the flippers off and the tail, we're just focusing on this shape here. What shape do we have? Well, it's kind of an oval shape, but it's almost, actually if I did this, it's almost like we could fit a capital letter D in there, couldn't we? Almost. So on your paper there, what we're going to do is start about here. We're going to draw a curved line like this. We're going to come around like a D almost. We're going to bring it up. I'm going to bring it up to about here. Well, let's start. I'll tell you what. Let's bring it up around here. But when we get up to here, we're going to curve it in a little bit like that. So we've got our D, flat part of the D here, but when we get up here, we're going to curve it around a little bit. And right at the end there, right here, coming around, what we're going to do is we're going to put a little backwards C coming around like that. Okay. And what we're going to do with that C is we'll bring it, as you can see, it comes around here. So we're going to come around a little bit till it touches that flat line that we drew underneath there. I'm just going to erase a little bit in here, clean it up a bit. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is let's go to the other end back here, the pointed part of the D down here. What we're going to do is, this is where the D kind of ends here. So what we're going to do here, we'll come up here, we'll bring this line down like this, almost coming down so it's straight. Then we're going to we'll come over here to the flat part of the D, coming out a little bit here, aren't we? And we'll bring it down so it gets a little bit thinner as we get down here. We're going to stop. And then what we'll do here, right on the left side, take your pencil, bring it over and down a little bit like that. Of course, we'll do the same thing on the right side. We'll bring it out and bring it down over here like that. And then to close it up here, what we're going to do is bring a line that comes up and down like this, sort of like a flattened out upside down U. But right in the center here, once you've done that, I'll give you a couple of seconds here to catch up. What we're going to do right in the top of this curve here, we're going to come up a little bit and back down again. Almost like we put a little upside down V. So we've got the line going up and down, but halfway up here, we're going to come up a little bit and down. I know you can't really see it in the picture here, but there actually is a little place where it dips up just a little. So if we erase that, just a little underneath that upside down V, there we go. It looks like it comes up and down. Okay, let's go right up here, about halfway up this D here on the curve part. And what we're going to do is we're going to add that fin. And it isn't quite as pointy as a shark's fin, is it? So we're going to bring that over a little bit like this, but then we're going to round it off. See how it rounds? Round it off, and then bring it down like that. Okay, let's go to this fin right here. So we're going to go right, well, I'd say almost in the middle, from the head down to this back part of the D, just about in the middle here. Draw a slight curved line like that. Then what we're going to do is right on this part, on the right side of that slight curve line rather, we're going to bring your pencil around like this, because this is what we're doing here. Then we're going to bring it down a little bit and bring it longer. It's going to be longer than this line here, farther back, till we turn around and come back up like that. Then what we'll do is we'll go underneath the chin here. We'll come back down here about to here. And what we're going to do is draw a line that curves down like this. We're going to turn it around, round it off right here. We're going to bring it back up. And just before we touch, see how it comes back in like this? There's a little diagonal line that comes in like that. So we're coming down, around, curving it a little bit over, stopping, and drawing the diagonal line. Probably actually could make this a little bit longer, but there we go. Okay, let's go up into the mouth here. What we're going to do is we're going to come up this nose, this little backward C that we drew before. Take your pencil and we're going to come up a little bit and back like this. See where this bottom fin stops here? If we went straight up, that's about where the mouth would, this part here would stop, right there. Now the mouth part, I should say this is above the mouth. What we're going to do is take this, we're going to curve down just a little bit, a tiny little upside down U, and then we're going to bring that line back over, but just before we get to the end, you see how it goes up a little bit? We're going to bring it up a little bit like that. So what do? All right, we got this line going across here. We're going to stop. We're going to go up and down, bring it over, and then bring it up again like that. Okay, right in the end of the mouth, the corner of the mouth right there, we're going to skip over a little bit over here, and we're going to draw the eye. And I don't know if you can see this, but the shape of the eye would be an oval shape, wouldn't it? At least from this picture anyway. So we're going to skip over here. We're going to draw an oval like this. And then it looks like, very lightly, we're going to put a line curving or almost like an eyebrow. And there's a slight line underneath it like this. And I know you may not be able to see this, but there's actually, I'm going to put a little eyelid, a little line lower there, right in the oval. And then I'm going to fill this part in like that. So again, I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll blow this up, but we've got the eye. I put the eyelid in a little bit lower, and I'm filling this part of the eye in right here. Right. Okay. Well, we basically have the shapes in place. So now what we're just going to do is add some of the details. And there really isn't a lot we need to add. First things first, and this part of the D down here, we can erase. So it looks like the tail is going right up into the body. Then what we're going to do is, see some of these highlights, these little white dots or specks with the light shining off the dolphin, what we're going to do is we're going to go just to the left of the eye here. I'm sorry, to the right of the eye. And we'll put kind of a squiggly one there, and there's a smaller one next to it right there. I see one just above the nose, kind of looks like a nostril. There's a few going down this fin here. And what I do see, which is interesting, is if you see this bottom part of the fin, if you want to, make this a little wavy, just slightly wavy, because that's what I see looking at that here. We'll erase that so you can see that a little better. There we go. Okay. Now, oh, and I know you probably can't see this, but there's a slight, the blowhole would be right about here. So we'll put a little darker line there. Could go down just a little bit. But there's a little slit underneath the eye. We can come down here and go over here like this with a lighter, don't press quite as hard with your pencil. And then we're going to skip over here. I don't know if you can see this, but there's another light line that kind of comes down like this, and then it kind of curves back in like this. But really, to finish this off, since the dolphin is jumping in the air, we've got all these wonderful splashes of water here, don't we? So let's add a little bit of this. And let's start with right underneath here. What I see, take your pencil, and we're going to draw a line down, but make it bumpy. Kind of bring it in and out and in and out and down like this. I see another line here that comes down, turn it around, and comes back up like this. There's little white dots here, bigger and smaller. I know I'm going fast here, but give you a chance to catch up. And then the water that's splashing off the tail, what we're going to do is we're going to come right down the end of the tail. And right at the bottom here, what I'm seeing is a little oval, a little bit bigger, and I'm actually doing this. What we're going to come up here and get kind of wild with your pencil, kind of wiggle it up like this and wiggle it back like this, in and out. I'm going to put another, I see another little squiggle here. Over here, we'll go to the other end of the tail. We'll come in a little bit, and what I see is kind of a squiggly line that comes up and down to the bottom of the page. And you can keep adding these if you want. There's a bigger little drop of water, another one here, another one over here. I won't take up your time with the rest of it. That's something you could do if you want later. But let's finish the picture up with what they call the horizon line. Now, the horizon line is where the ground, or in this particular case, the water, meets the sky, the horizon line. So let's come down here. The fin is right here in the back, isn't it? We're going to come down the back a little bit till we get to about here. And what we're going to do is, as best as you can here, I know you could use a ruler to do this, but I actually like to just freehand it here because it makes it a little bit more uneven, more like water. And right here, we've got the line here, just so there's a little triangle of the sky showing right underneath the fin of the dolphin. And then bring the line the rest of the way over like this. And then just simply to show, to indicate the water, again, it might be a little hard for you to see this, but what I'm seeing here is, let's go farther down here. What I see is a line that comes up and comes down like that. But then over here, if you look at this shape, we're going to jump up. I see one that comes up a little bit, down a little bit, up and down like that. There's another one over here, isn't there? So we're going to jump up to here, and I see a little bump up and down, a little bit bigger one like this. It comes back, up, back, and over like this. So what I'm just doing is I'm looking for the darker shape in the line up above it, aren't I? I'll put just a few more here. There's one over here that curves up a little bit, comes over and down. But what happens if the waves that are closer to us here are bigger, as you get farther away, they get smaller until they're just little lines. So let me just put a couple more here. There's one here farther back that's smaller than the other ones. There's another one over here. One more over here in the back. But as I get farther, they're pretty much just like lines, aren't they? And I don't know if that's a boat or just a kind of a little wave coming in, but there's a little white part like this. And again, you could keep doing this on your own. Bigger waves here, smaller ones in the back. But essentially, we've got our dolphin. We did it. And how did you do? I'm sure you did a marvelous job. And so, until next time, keep on sketching and draw some awesome pictures.